Hey guys. So tonight I am absolutely overwhelmed at the goodness of God. I for the first time ever decided to just step out of my shell after something that happened on Monday. So I've been watching these evangelistic kind of street healing kind of people like Todd White and Pete Corbett, I think it is, and whatever. Anyway, all these people that are going to the streets and just trusting God to lead them and just trying to love on people. So anyway, Monday, this girl that I used to hang out with, that I used to know, texts me out of the blue, and she's like, hey, I'd just like to have coffee sometime. Yeah, absolutely. So she comes for coffee, and I'm not really sure why she's come, and she's not really sure why she's come, and she said, so, like, what's new with you? And the funny thing is, God told me that morning to fast, and I hadn't fasted in 8 years. Like, seriously, I hadn't fasted in forever, other than, like, a short fast for a friend of mine that I was praying for, or whatever, not, like, full fasting, and not where I fast for more than 24 hours. So God told me to fast, so I was like, okay, so I started fasting. And she shows up the day I'm fasting, and I'm thinking, oh God, like, just use me, speak through me, let me encourage her, let me whatever, like, just use me today. And I start telling her about everything God's been doing in my life, and the incredible things he's been doing, and how he's just been blowing me away, and how I just want so much more. Like, I want to experience so much more of him, and I just want to make up for lost time, because I feel like I've just wasted so much. So I told her I just had this heart where I just wanted to go out in the world and make a difference and help people, and just like the verse says, these signs will follow those who believe. They will pick up serpents with their hands, and they will pray for the sick, and the sick will recover, and they will cast out demons. And like, I was just like, God, like, I want that so bad. So I'm telling her about it. And as I'm telling her about it, the breakthrough that I've been praying and fasting for as well came through on my text message. So I read my text, and I just burst into tears, like really happy tears. And she's like, what? And I was like, I can't really talk about it, but like, huge breakthrough. Like, this is exactly what I've been praying for. And I haven't even been fasting for a long time. Like, I can't even believe it. So I was really excited. So then I start showing her some videos. And as I'm showing her some videos, we're looking at this one of this guy named Pete Corbett or whatever, street evangelist. He has a special heart for atheists. And so we're looking at his stuff, and he's telling this guy's legs to come out and to go back in, and come out and go back in. And the lady in the background that's recording it, his wife, is going berserk. You can hear it in her breathing. Like, she's like, like, she's just freaking out in her breathing. Anyway, so we're watching this, and I'm telling her how bad I want to try it, and she puts me completely on the spot. And she goes, Janice, she goes, let's try it. And I'm thinking, well, like, I'm here with all my kids. I can't go anywhere right now. Like, what do you mean try it? And she's like, come on, let's try it. Where do you want me to sit? And in that second, I realized, like, she wanted me to try it with her. Here's what we didn't know. We didn't know one of her legs was actually shorter than the other. So I was like, well, you can't be on a couch. Like, you've got to be on a solid surface so that we can really see without any, like, weird movement. So she says, okay, and she sits on my marble coffee table, like, solid, strong coffee table, and she puts her feet up on my end table, again, solid, strong surface, and one of her feet is longer than the other. And we were both like, whoa. So I kept talking to her right leg and telling her right leg to come out. And it was like, the right leg on my side, looking at her legs, the right leg on my side was longer than the left leg. But I was talking to her right leg, anyway, I was talking to the wrong leg. And when I finally realized I was talking to the wrong leg, and I started saying the leg I meant to say, what was her real right leg and not on my right side or whatever. Anyway, it started coming out, and her and I were both like, what? Like, really? Like, just, honestly, I didn't really think it would. But I just wanted her to experience love, and I just wanted her to experience just a moment with him where she knew that he was meeting her and that he loved her. And that's exactly what happened. Anyway, my husband come home, and I tried to tell him, and he kind of like okay, like, right then. Like, I'm not sure he believed us. So then I get the guts to go out tonight. And I go out tonight, and I didn't know where I was going. I just started driving around, and I'd been like trying to get people to come with me, and I couldn't find anybody to come with me, and I was just like, that's it, God, I'm going anyway. So I went out and I'm driving around, and all of a sudden in my head I think of Harbor House, and I used to be a Harbor House girl, which is a women's shelter, and that was like 11 years ago. So I think of Harbor House, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll drive there, God, and if I see somebody outside or having a cigarette or whatever, then I'll know that that's who you want me to talk to. So I get there, and right as I pull up, of course, perfect timing, there's this skinny, tiny little girl like I used to be, and she looks really sad and really uncared for, and she was going in with her little 5-year-old daughter. And I was just so compelled to like talk to her and just tell her how much God loves her, and I did. And then I just asked her if I could pray over her, and she said yes, and I told her my story, and I told her that I used to be a Harbor House girl, and I told her everything God's done in my life, and I told her I used to live on the streets at one point, and that I was homeless many, many, many times, and I just told her just some of my junk and some of my mess from before. And to my complete surprise, she just started to melt and soften, and then I said, can I pray for you? And she said, yeah, and I just hugged her, and I just held her, and I just embraced her, and I prayed for her. And as I was praying for her, I opened my eyes, and I looked in the window behind her at Harbor House. And as I looked in the window, I couldn't believe it, but I saw her like reaching out her hand and grabbing for her daughter, trying to get her daughter to come close to us and hug in on this prayer. And my heart was just wrenched. Anyway, I just heard God say, give her some money. So I just took some money out of my pocket and I gave her some money, and she just like cried. Like, not a lot of cry, like just like started to cry, but then shut it off right away. And I just said, you know, God loves you so much, and he sees you, and he sent me to you today. And then after that, I'm driving around and I'm like, hey God, that was amazing. And I was just so on cloud 9. And I was like, hey, what do you want me to do now? Where do you want me to go? So then I'm driving, and God is like, he just puts in my head my grandma. And my grandma died like 11 years ago. I haven't seen her in forever, but she used to live like, I don't know, probably 20 years in a place called Hague Tower, a big, huge, really tall building. She was on the 17th floor. So he puts in my head Hague Tower, and I was like, okay, God, I'll go there. And if there's somebody outside, and it's cold, like it's cold outside, and it's night, it's dark, I was like, if there's somebody outside when I get there, I will know that that person is for me and that you're calling me to them. So I pull up, and sure enough, there's this little tiny, really old lady standing outside having a cigarette. And I was just floored that he had her there for me, and I knew he had her there for me. So I got out and I talked to her, and I just hugged her, and I just told her I loved her, and I prayed for her, and God healed her. He took all her pain away. She touched her toes. I can't touch my toes. I can't touch my toes. My body's too tight. I can't. This little tiny, super old lady touched her toes. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, it took 3 times praying. And again, when I left, I was like, you know, I just feel like God really wants to buy you lunch tomorrow. And I put some money in her little pocket, and I just said, he loves you so much, and he sees you, and he cares about you so much. And then I thought to run to my truck and get my phone and just ask if I could get this story online. So I got this story online, and yeah, you guys can check it out. It's amazing. Anyway, it's really fun to be a Christian. I don't know how I ever ran away from this. I just don't. Okay, gracious G here.